Vintage Game Finder. I'm Neves Mazda 07. Of course, this week has been pretty bad, I have to say. Throughout the week, I had little to no leads, and whatever leads I did get, they weren't retro games, which is what I always like to pick up and collect. But for the most part, they were fillers for my collection and some odds and ends, some accessories, a couple controllers, but nothing that was truly exciting. And then Saturday came along, and I was out working, and I came across a yard sale. And where I work, it's mainly farms. So I came across a farm. The guy had a shed, and he was selling stuff out of there this weekend. So I was about maybe the 5th or 6th person there at that particular sale. So I'll go ahead and give you the quick story about how I came to get this pickup. All of this that I'm going to show you right now is basically from that farm shed. So really excited about it. Took the opportunity to talk to the guy, get to know the guy, and what he does basically is every month or every couple months he goes with his wife on road trips. They have an RV. They go ahead and pick a state and they go to it. And along their travels, they frequent a lot of swap meets and yard sales and estate sales. Kind of what I do, but their scope is a lot more broader. They're more into the antiques and ceramic dolls and all that other weird shit. But he did manage to pick up some video games, and I thought it was pretty awesome. So I went in, introduced myself, of course, and started talking to him. And then I asked him, "Would you happen to have any video games?" Pretty broad-based question. He's like, "Yeah, I have a couple of Nintendo games," which is, I guess, country slang for Nintendo. So I started looking around, and I found one particular thing. And then I move a little to the right, then I found another couple items. And then I found a table full of them. So as soon as I saw that, and as soon as I could grab what I could, I basically told him, "You're going to need to get me a box, because I'm going to fill the box up with everything. Whatever there was that was there that I collect, I threw it in the box." My rule of thumb is, if you have to ask for the price on an individual item more than 3 times, then you don't even ask, you know. Ask once, ask twice, then after that, if you see more items, just bundle. Your best deals are always when you go ahead and bundle everything together. So that's what I went ahead and did. I was very excited. I actually started breathing heavily. And could have been an anxiety attack, could be that I'm massively overweight, could be a mix of both, who knows. But I'm going to go ahead, that's basically the story. I'm going to go ahead and start showing you in no particular order what I picked up, and at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and let you know how much I paid for it. And you can tell me if this was a good deal or not. I think it was for what I was able to pick up. So I guess we could go ahead and go through the consoles real quick. Let me just move this stuff. You know what? I'm just gonna bring the box up. This was the actual box that I had everything in, and like I said, I was just throwing stuff in there, and at the end, I didn't give him the price that I initially thought he was going to charge me. I just basically asked him, "What do you want for all this? What do you want?" And he told me, and I was like, box. Typical U-Haul. I'm just gonna start ramming shit and I'm gonna show it to you. Looks like these are the games. Alright. We have Nintendo DS Pokemon Ranger. That's complete. Now, I have a couple sealed games and a couple games that are just case and manual, but nothing in them. But I still like to pick those up because if the case is in good shape, the manual's in good shape, if there's no water damage, why not, you know? So I got a sealed copy, factory sealed copy of Toy Commander for the Sega Dreamcast. I have Sega Sports NFL 2K1, the not for resale copy. I have Web Browser 2.0 for the Sega Dreamcast. Completely useless now. I have no idea if there's any independent servers out there that actually still use the Web Browser 2.0 or whatever. But it's still kind of cool to have, especially if you're trying to collect complete collection for that individual console. Now I got a completed copy of NBA 2K1. That was another great game that was available at launch. This is the not for resale copy. And this is Sega Sports NHL 2K. This one did not have the game, but it did have WWF Attitude, or WWE Attitude, depending on what year it came out. I'm pretty sure it's WWF. So, got the case and manual for that NHL game and WWF Attitude loose. So it's a win-win. Alright, next I have a case and manual for Sonic Adventure 2. And I was happy when I saw this because I have Sonic Adventure 2, but I have it loose. So now I have it complete, and I'm pretty happy about that. When I saw it, I scooped it up in between my anxiety attacks. Next up, I have the case and the disc for Sonic Shuffle, the Sega Dreamcast. This is basically, if you've never played it, it's Sega's interpretation of what Mario Party would be like with their marquee characters. So I haven't played it, and I'm very anxious to go ahead and do that eventually. Next, I have NFL Quarterback Club 2000 by Acclaim Sports, and that's complete. Another sealed Sega Dreamcast game. This is Sega Marine Fishing. And I'm pretty sure this game would be amazing to play with that fishing rod controller that keeps escaping me. I came across one, but the guy wanted so much that I had to walk away. But eventually I will find one, and I'll be happy to go ahead and play this game with that controller. Next, we're going to PlayStation. I have a Greatest Hits edition copy of Nuclear Strike, the sequel to Soviet Strike. The jewel case is pretty beat up, but I'll go ahead and transfer it to one of my spares that I have, so not too worried about that. Next, I found a Nintendo Wii game, and it's not your usual shovelware. I ended up getting another copy. This one's complete of New Super Mario Brothers Wii, which is a fun game. Very fun. Now we got GameCube games. I have Animal Crossing for the Nintendo GameCube. That's complete. Very minimal scratching on these discs. So whoever you picked it up from, they took really good care of it. I have now a black label copy of Pikmin 2. And I remember, I can't tell you what episode, but I do remember having the first Pikmin, so looking forward to playing this eventually, of course. And that's complete. Right down to the registration card. Next, we have a copy of Harvest Moon the Player's Choice Edition of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, and that's complete. Game Boy now. We have the first gen Game Boy Advance. Unfortunately, not with the backplate, but I finally have a first gen Game Boy Advance. It took me a while to find this. I had one initially, but for the life of me, I don't remember where I ended up putting it. Either one of my kids misplaced it, or I sold it for cheap. And this is back when I wasn't really into collecting, so it's good to have these, even though there's no backlight feature on them. They're still pretty cool to have. So I got that. This, now I'll be looking for the printer, but I'm very happy when I found this. I was very happy. This is the Game Boy camera. I can't tell you what year this was out. Could have been 96 or 97, and I always thought it was a neat little accessory to have for your Game Boy Pocket or Game Boy Color. And this definitely, to me, was the pioneer of the selfie. If you want to call it that, but it's pretty cool to have. So I managed to pick that up, and got a Game Boy game as well, which is Casper. And let's see what else we have. This looks to be for the Nintendo GameCube. A little RF adapter there. Very common stuff. Next, looks like we have consoles. Let's see. Oh, before I show you the consoles, I also am picking these up for friends of mine on Facebook groups or locally who are starting to try to get into the strategy guides. So I managed to pick this up at the same place, and it's the Pokemon guide from Nintendo Power, Pokemon Gold, I think it is, Gold and Silver, and this the official player's guide. So of course some kid had it because he drew all over the cover, but on the inside it doesn't look too bad at all. No coloring, no names, no marker. It's pretty good on the inside. On the outside, not so much. Still cool to have, still cool to come across, because there's definitely people out there that like to collect that stuff, and I like to help people out whenever I can. As long as I get a little something in return, it's only fair. Okay, next, since we had some GameCube games, I managed to find a GameCube, and this one came with the memory card. And this one to me is a little cool because I don't remember these kits being on too many GameCubes. I'm pretty sure it's not a special edition or anything like that, but I still think it's pretty cool that stuff like this was available for you to make your console unique. You know, I know there's skins on Xbox and PS2 and all that, but I didn't remember seeing too many of these. Maybe it was just exclusive to Pokemon, or there could have been one for Smash Brothers Melee. I don't know. If you do know, go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section. I always like knowing those little tidbits and facts and all that. Before I pick these up, my rule of thumb is to always open them up and see what's in there. And in this case, it was nothing. But it still keeps you in a state of suspense when you don't know for sure if you want the console or not, but it's always cool to go ahead and try to open the door and see if there's actually something in there that you could go ahead and take out and say, oh, how much for this? And more often than not, they don't care. But the last couple of times I tried that, it was at flea markets, and they started getting wise to it, and they didn't want to sell it to me, or anybody in general. You want the game, you got to buy the console too. So if you haven't tried that tactic, go ahead and try it, and usually it works out. So we got a GameCube. Unfortunately, no controllers. It just came with the RF accessory thingy. So let's see. Next, we have a whole bunch of controllers and another console, and that's pretty much what I picked up. So we're going back to Sega. Original Sega Dreamcast controller. That's one. another Sega Dreamcast controller. That's 2 original. And 1 more, and this one came with the VMU, which is awesome to collect. I love these. So got that. Got another original controller here. So that completes what I need as far as original controllers go, because I already have 2 and I have 3 there, so I'm not going to need any more, so I'll just go ahead and throw the rest of my trade pile. The next 3 controllers are aftermarket, and they are from, Performance. I don't even know if they're still around, but that's an aftermarket, and they're all the same model, which is pretty awesome. Got this one in green, got one in blue, and got one in lava red. So that's pretty cool. So I'm debating whether to keep these or not, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go ahead and pass them along because I love the originals more than anything. And these look to have a little bit of a wider stance than the original controllers there. So I would probably go ahead and prefer the original ones. And last but not least, have myself another Sega Dreamcast. I love Sega, always have, always will. It was my first console that I owned by myself. Because before that I had family members that I used to play their consoles, but I never had one for myself. And the first console I ever had was a Sega Master System, which I still own, which is miraculous. Those things are built to last, let me tell you. But ever since then, I've just always gravitated towards Sega. And it's sad and it's unfortunate, and my opinions on Sega have been skewed over the last 10 years or so, because I like to think they had opportunities to come back in and be competitive, but just they lost the foresight, they lost the will to do it. And I'm just, at this point, I'm just happy they're still in the market. I mean, even if they're just making games for every other console but their own, I'm just happy that they still have a niche. And as long as they're around, I'm going to be around to support them. So this marks my my 4th Dreamcast, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to open this up, clean it up, test it, make sure it works, and I'll go ahead and pass it along. But that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I don't know what you think, but to me, I think it was a good deal for 20 bucks.
What?
Yeah, I just said that. 20 bucks, I got this. I left out of there pretty much ecstatic, pretty happy. Have a lot of games here that I don't have in my collection that I'm gonna add to my collection now. Those sealed games, I'm probably not gonna even open. Just for the nostalgia, just looking at it and remembering going to the stores and just browsing and saying, oh, I'm gonna get this game eventually, and I'm gonna get this game next week or whatever. You know, it's the great thing about this hobby is when you touch a game, you can close your eyes and go back to the moment. You know, go back to that time, go back and regain that innocence that you lost when you got a little bit older and you got a little bit more responsibility. And I think that's one of the great things about this hobby in general, that you can be a kid again, which is not too bad. So I was gonna, when I had everything in the box, and before I brought the box to the guy, in my mind and visually, I just said, you know, this guy's gonna ask between 40 and 50 bucks. And when he gave me that price, I was like, I shook the man's hand and I said, deal. No need to haggle. There's no way you haggle anybody for all of this for 20 bucks. So worked out for me, and I was very happy. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching. Like always, please comment, subscribe, like, of course, and share the video with your friends. I mean, if they're into the hobby, of course, or they're on the border of being in the hobby, go ahead and share the video. Let them know that, you know, a blue-collar guy like myself or like yourself or you know, could go ahead and relive those times of their youth and their innocence, of course. So thanks for watching. God bless and happy hunting.